is important to use system analysis and design methodologies. When building a system, we cannot just build a system whatever way. Seem to be quick and easy what value is provided by using an engineering approach. It encourages the documentation of the building process and serves as a good reference point when information about the system is needed. It also helps in the testing of the various components of the system for efficiency. System analysis is the total evaluation of the working component of a system. It shows the health or functionality of component and analyzes the effect of their relationship on the total system performance. The design methodology is an engineering process to achieve a good, complete and system build and follow the procedure documenting, experimenting, and observation of the system is implemented. Example of organization that follow this method in building their system are automobile industry like Honda.
Greetings to everyone. My name is Kenneth Victoria from the group of Orphans, Group 12. And before I start the presentation on question number 2, I will have a small brief about system. So what is system? The word system is derived from the Greek word systema, means an organized relationship among the following unit or component. A system is an orderly grouping or interdependent components linked together according to a plan to achieve a specific objective. So, yung system nga daw ay about sa pagkakakonek-konektado ng mga bagay in order to achieve one objective. So, may goal. And the next one is the elements of the system. There are several parts of the elements of a system. The first thing is the input. So basically, as we all know, the input is the one thing that putted in the system in order to get the output. And it's basically connected to each other. And the next one is processor. The processor is the element of a system that involves the actual transformation of input to output. And the third one is the control. The control element guides the system. It is a decision-making subsystem that controls the pattern of activities governing input, processing, and input. Feedback control in a dynamic system is achieved by the feedback. Feedback measures output against a standard in a sum of cybernetic procedure that includes communication and control. And another one is the environment. The environment is the suprasystem within which an organization operates. It determines how a system should work. And the last one things is the boundaries and the interface. A system should be defined by its boundaries, the limits that identify its components, process, and interrelationship when it interfaces with another system. Each system has boundaries that determines its sphere of influence and control. And now I shall proceed to discuss the question number 2 answer. I make my university, the Pamantasan ng Kabuyao, as a system by making a system diagram. First, I'm going to show what is the input on the system diagram. As drawn, the input comes in two things, dalawang bagay yan. That is the student and the DepEd. Basically, the students portrays learning from the teachers and paying available balance to the accounting cashier. And that, and yun yung input na nagagawa ng students. among sa inside ng system. And while the DepEd gives the study curriculum to the teacher and principal as an input. And the other one input is the yung DepEd nagbibigay siya ng study curriculum sa mga teacher and also sa principal para magbigay ng input to process and provide education or study curriculum sa mga estudyante na nag-aaral sa pamantasan ng Kabuyaw. That's how the input works on the system. While the output on the system is about, obviously, the output is about the knowledge that the student gets from studying and listening to teachers. Ayun, explain ko siya. Yung output na presented on the system diagram is the knowledge na nakukuha ng mga students, teacher, after mag-listen and mag-study. Just a normal procedure on taking an education like that. Yun yung input and output about sa system diagram by presenting pamantasan ng Kabuyaw. Then, let's proceed about components. The components of the system diagram drawn below is, first is the components under inside the system. So, ayun nga, ang unang bagay is yung mga na components na under or inside the system. And the first thing inside the system is basically the principal. Kasi yun yung head ng pamantasan ng Kabuyaw, di ba? And sumunod dun is the teachers, the guidance office, the registrar, and last but not the least is the accounting cashier. Yung mga bagay na yan is under ng inside component ng system. Bali sila yung sila yung organization or yung faculty members ng pamantasan ng Kabuyaw Kaya that's why they are labeled as the inside component of the system. And that's why. And there are outer component. We got two outer component. And it was the student and the DepEd. Because those two other outer component, basically the system is incomplete. Kapag wala yun kapag wala yung dalawang yun, hindi kompleto, bali may kulang. Yun, may kulang siya. Kaya that's why it's part of the components of the system in order na mabuo yung system para mag-working synchronizing. Yan yung bali para maganda yung flow, maayos yung flow. Kaya yun yung mga components na nagko-consist together as a working things para gumana yung system. Let's go on in interrelationship. Sa system, meron yung interrelationship occurred basically on the DepEd to the university faculty members. Diba? Yung relationship ng outer sa internal. Kumbaga, magko-connected sila from labas hanggang loob. That's why the DepEd to university faculty members. And the next one is the student to university faculty members as they connected to each other para mag-work, para gumana yung bagay. They are the things that interrelationship about the system diagram about pamantasan ng Kabuyaw. And next one, we're talking about constraints. Constraints on the system diagram. Basically, yung constraints ng system is about yung restriction, kung baga to whom or where to comply a thing or process. Kung baga doon ka lang dapat mag-proceed. Basically, an example nun is yung student para humingi ng knowledge is sa teacher lang naman para makinig, para mag-learn, and para naman sa pagbibigay ng bayad. Siyempre, yung students sa ano lang nila, sa accounting, cashier lang nila magagawa yon. Kumbaga yung restriction is under 2 things lang. Kumbaga dun lang iikot yung process na yon. Wala nang ibang pang pagkokonektahan. Kumbaga dun lang, dun ka lang pupunta, dun ka lang magko-comply. Yung ganun yung ibig sabihin ng constraints sa system diagram about pamantasan ng kabuyaw. And the next one is the purpose of the system. Siyempre, yung purpose ng system as ang pamantasan ng kabuyaw is to provide education. Siyempre, provide education to every people who wants to study. And also, hindi lang sa pagprovide ng education, and also to teach values and right manners for improving self. And ayun, yun yung purpose ng pamantasan ng kabuyaw by conducting those things to the students na mag-aaral sa pamantasan ng kabuyaw as an system working, ganun. Now, and we're talking about the interface about dun sa system on pamantasan ng kabuyaw. And it was the interface shown in the diagram is the student to teachers. Bakit student to teacher? Because yun lang yung dalawang organization or subject na nagkokonektado sa isa't isa. Kumbaga, they are meant to be connected. So, kasi yun yung how the university works in reality, how the education to be provided. Kasi yun naman talaga, yung teachers talaga yung nagbibigay ng knowledge sa students, and yung students na ikinig sa mga teachers about sa pagbibigay ng aral, ganun. And last but not the least is the environment. So, as we talk about environment, syempre papasok sa isipan natin yung nasasakupan no? Parang ganun parang the environment shown in the system diagram was the most of the components are basically under the university pamantasan ng kabuyaw, including the student itself. Bakit kasama yung mga yon? Kasi sa environment, sama-sama silang lahat. Kumbaga, under sila ng pamantasan ng kabuyaw. That's why they are all belong sa environment. Kumbaga, ayun yung environment nila, yung pamantasan ng kabuyaw, kasi dun lahat sila under. So, I'm going to present a summary ng system diagram ng pamantasan ng kabuyaw. So, as shown on the video presentation, makita natin yung students with the arrow to teachers by complying. Siyempre, yun yung ibig sabihin nun, the teachers are teaching students and the students are listening and complying schoolworks according to the study curriculum. Kumbaga, nagwo-work yung student and teachers as connected each other by give and take. Kumbaga, yung students magko-comply sa teacher about sa mga work output, yung ganun, yung mga assignments, while the teachers will give knowledge by teaching the students, yun, ganun. And the next one is the DepEd. Kumbaga, yun yung yung isa pang outer ibang organization. And the DepEd gives the learning material to the teachers and principal to provide quality education. Kumbaga, yung DepEd yung nagbibigay ng study curriculum sa teachers and sa principal for them to provide it to the students. Kumbaga, to provide it to the students and to make it as rule sa pamantasan ng kabuyaw. Kumbaga, konektado din yun. Konektado yung DepEd to the school. In short, konektado yung DepEd sa pamantasan ng kabuyaw by providing the education and by providing what was the rule or regulation on the school. Ganun dapat. And the next one is students to register by complying. Students complying requirements in the registrar. Siyempre, nagwo-work yung student and register pagka kunwari may kulang kang requirements Kasi hindi pa kumpleto yung nabibigay mo requirements, pupunta yung student, magko-comply sa registrar para ma-complete yung requirements. Hindi lang syempre sa completing requirements, maybe sa additional na kailangan mong ipasa sa information para ma-complete mo yung yung data mo as a student. And the next one is the student to accounting cashier. Siyempre, pag alam natin yan, student to accounting cashier, alam na natin kung anong purpose nan. So, the student paying tuition fees or remaining school balance. So, pupunta yung student sa accounting cashier para magbayad. So, yung accounting cashier na yan is basically part of pamantasan ng kabuyaw by providing an account yung account ng mga estudyante by para ma-secure, para kung anong balance na kailangan bayaran, ganun. And the next one is the guidance office providing provide teaching good manners and right conduct over the rule of the university. Syempre yung guidance office, kumbaga yung guidance office kasi parang parang pangalawang teachers ng university. Kumbaga, ang role nila is to teach the students about good manners and right conduct by correcting their behaviors or acts about on the university, ganun siya umiikutan. So makita nyo yung makikita nyo dan sa below makikita nyo dan sa diagram system, kumbaga nasa inside ng pamantasan ng kabuyaw yung mga faculty members, kasi sila yung inside members, kumbaga sila yung components na bumubuo sa pamantasan ng kabuyaw, while itong students and DepEd is yung mga nasa labas para provide ng input sa system. Kumbaga sila yung nasa labas na kikikonekta papunta sa loob, orang ganon. And that's how the system diagram as an pamantasan ng kabuyaw works. Kumbaga ginawa ko lang siyang system diagram, pero ganan yung nangyayari sa pamantasan ng kabuyaw. So ginawa ko lang siyang system kung paano nagwo-work yung pamantasan ng kabuyaw, kung ano yung nangyayari sa pamantasan ng kabuyaw, anong ginagawa ng estudyante, anong kailangan gawin, anong ginagawa ng teachers and principal, guidance office, etc. Mga ganun na bagay. Kumbaga, it's an ordering or connected to each other as an system. Kumbaga, makita nyo as an drone dan na they're all connected sa pamantasan ng kabuyaw, because it was the talaga yung pinaka-head ng system yung pamantasan ng kabuyaw. Kumbaga supporting lang yung iba components lang, ganun.
How might prototyping be used as a part of SDLC, or the Systems Development Life Cycle? Concept has become a significant method for planning, executing, and controlling system development projects. This approach is not with its drawbacks and unsatisfactory system can be still developed. Although not a perfect solution, prototyping has emerged as an attractive tool to complement and even improve the traditional software development method. Prototyping is the rapid development and testing of working models or prototypes of new application in an iterative process that can be used by both system analysis and end users. The system development lifecycle enables users to transform a newly developed project into a operational one. It also referred to as the application development lifecycle. In a software development, a prototype is a rudimentary working model of a product or information system. Prototyping is used to allow the users evaluate developer proposals and try them out before implementation. It also helps understand the requirements which are user specific and may not have been considered by the developer during the product design. Software prototyping is most useful in development of systems having high level of user interactions such as online systems. System which needs user to fill out forms or go through various screens before data is processed can can use prototyping very effectively to give the exact look and feel even before the actual software is developed. Software that involves too much of data processing and most of the functionality is internal with very little user interface does not usually benefit from prototyping. Prototype development could be an extra overhead in such projects and may need a lot of extra efforts. That's all. Thank you.